Okay, Jessa here. We're vlogging every day in April, and I'm trying to be as diligent and committed to this as I can be. Uh, Unfortunately, it turns out the only time I really have to record these things is after midnight or thereabouts. Um, and honestly, guys, I am exhausted. Internet, you have won. Uh, I am so tired right now, I can't even stand it. And here's the thing, right? So, I run myself ragged. I just can't help myself. I work a full-time job. I blog and podcast and do web development and all of that wonderful stuff. Outside of that, which in and of itself is more than a full-time job. But I love it. And I am also an insomniac. Terrible insomniac. And here's the thing about insomnia, right? You get used to it. You're tired. Sure, you're tired. You want to go to sleep so badly, and your body just won't let you. You think, okay, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go to bed now, and I'm gonna sleep soundly because I am so exhausted. And then you get there and you lay down, and you just stare into the dark because you cannot do it. Some people will try tricks. Will try to listen to a radio or a monotonous podcast, perhaps. Something sort of monotonous and droning, not unlike me at this moment. Some people will just watch television. I'm one of those people that watches television. It has to be something that I enjoy, but not enough to want to watch. Or a really good example is like a show that I really enjoy, but I've already seen that episode. A lot of times I find myself falling asleep to Law and Order episodes because I love Law and Order in almost all of its iterations. And but I've seen almost every single episode ever aired of any Law and Order. So usually there is a Law and Order on that I can fall asleep to. Or lately I've been falling asleep to Archer, which I wonder if I ever do dream how that affects the dreams. I love Archer, but if you know the show, you kind of will understand why that's a bit concerning. So yeah, but when you finally do get to sleep, I average probably on any given night between 2 and 4 hours of sleep, because by the time I actually get to sleep, we're looking at almost 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I have to be up and getting ready for work in the morning. And thank you, dear Lord, for having a job with lovely hours so that I don't have to be at work until 9 o'clock. I appreciate that because it means I get to stay in bed a little longer than I normally would have to, and yet I still always seem to be late. Yeah, it just, yeah. And you would think, right, because you're up so much longer that you would get more done. No, you don't. Because let me tell you, folks, the point I'm at right now is that point where you see something, right? So let's say I'm reading a document or a website, and you see it, you see the text, you see the graphics, but you're not absorbing any of it, right? As soon as you scroll by it, forget it, it's gone. Couldn't tell you what I looked at. That's not really great. So I'm at that point right now. I've been really productive. I've been really productive all day, all week. The last couple weeks I've been really productive, and I try to tell myself this is training for you, right? You've got a lot coming up, a lot of new projects that are really going to take a lot of time and attention, and you are not going to be sleeping, and so it's perfect for you. But not so much. So if you are an insomniac out there, I suggest you go see your doctor and let him or her give you some sort of prescription medication, because this is horrible and I would not wish it on anyone. I need to get back to the doctor myself so that I can have a refill, because yeah. And they say part of it is just anxiety, and I sort of believe that to be true, because I think for me, part of it is just that there's so much going on in my own head, and there's so much that I'm worried about or planning or sort of trying to come down from that, that I've been concerned about all day or thinking about all day, that becomes difficult to sort of clear my head. And I've tried the whole writing thing also. They say, like, keep a journal so that you can sort of get those thoughts out and down on paper, so that, they're not rattling around in your brain all night. It doesn't work for me so much. I think probably because most of my projects tend to be very open-ended, and so are going to go on for a really long time. They have a lot of lead time, that perhaps that feeds into it. Yeah, but insomnia, not a good thing, Should have a little nip next to the bed. Oddly enough, alcohol always works, but you don't really want to depend on it. I am of age, so I have a license to prove that. My birth certificate will back me up. I am legal. I can drink. Not that you should. Not on the regular. Not by yourself. So they say. Frankly, I'm of the mindset that anything that helps me get to sleep is perfectly okay. I will not be operating heavy machinery. I will be sleeping. I hope. I hope you don't have insomnia. I hope that you are able to get sound sleep. And if you do have insomnia, maybe you could share your tips. Like, what works for you? What finally sort of settles you down and gets you to slumberland? Because Mama needs to get there. Something terrible. But yeah, I mean, I would love to hear what it is you guys do. If you suffer from insomnia, how do you deal? How do you get to the point where you just finally sleep? Because it's not, and I don't mean how do you run yourself ragged to the point of complete and total exhaustion where you have no other choice but to then basically shut down, because you certainly don't want to get to that point. Life is not conducive to a complete and total shutdown. So it's much better, of course, if you can sort of bypass that and get the rest that you need before the shutdown. So if you have some magic that works for you, let me know. Maybe there's some sort of special ceremony or ritual that's involved. I'm open to suggestions.